The season came to an end. This is the ArmChair GM podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the Flames podcast. We are the ArmChair GMs. I'm here with Dylan, Chris, myself, Ty, as usual. Tonight, we have some horrible news. Honestly, if you've been under a rock for the last little while, we lost, and we lost in horrible fashion to Edmonton. And so, in honor of that, yeah, it's a sad day, boys. Sad day.
Yeah, it's been a sad week and a half, right? I mean, We haven't come on and done a show because it's been kind of a sore spot for the three of us.
It's been a little depressing.
Yeah.
Took me a few days to even start watching any other series again. Like, it was pretty disappointing to watch our boys completely forget how they played the entire season.
I still haven't been able to sit down and watch any more hockey. It broke my heart the way that everything ended. And so, yeah, I've gotten out there and re-experienced things. Like, are you guys aware there's these things out there called girls? And you can meet them and they do things to you, and it's just incredible.
I'm married. I don't even know what you're talking about.
both of us are domesticated, Ty.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Yes, we are very aware.
Oh, girls.
Yeah, no, I've refocused my life now. I'm not obsessing on the Flames. You get out there, you play sports and stuff. I broke my thumb last week, and it was all purple and shit because I was playing football, and
Jeez.
Crazy shit going on out there. It's a wild world.
It is. I mean, I'm barbecuing on a daily basis. Not that I wasn't before that, but now I'm really focused on it.
There you go.
I've got the TV on the deck, so I can sort of watch what's going on in the rest of the series ever since we got knocked out. But it's
breaking news. We are officially changing the name to the ArmChair Barbecue podcast, and moving forward, we will talk about nothing but barbecue until next season. So welcome to the ArmChair Barbecue podcast.
You sure we don't want to just call it grill tips?
Sorry, you're saying grill tips?
Grill. Yeah. See, the I and the I and the R are different in my world.
Yeah. Well, no, I've just been experiencing those girls I was talking about, so I heard grill tits.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow, man.
Well, that was amazing.
You really did need to get out, didn't you?
Yeah. Let's be honest. We didn't. I mean, the games against Dallas were somewhat painful to watch because we just couldn't get our offense going. And if you look at the last, I think I said it to Dylan, maybe 2 weeks left in the season, 3 weeks left in the season, that we are not playing the way we want to, right? We were fair to mediocre to finish off the season. And so I'm not entirely surprised with how we finished off against Edmonton because we didn't play our game whatsoever.
Nope.
I mean, I will give their top players a bit of credit. They played very well, but we allowed that.
See, I don't think against Edmonton we abandoned our structure for sure, but I don't think we really abandoned our structure or anything leading up to Edmonton. I think that the last couple of weeks of the season we weren't very good because we locked up our spot and we locked up home ice, and the players, it happens to a lot of teams. The players just don't care quite as much for some stupid reason, and they roll into the playoffs in slow fashion.
Yeah, well, then it's not surprising with how they played during, right? Yeah. If you got to fight and claw and get your way in there, you're more amped and you're more excited and you're ready to rock. Where, when you come in and just sort of coast through the last couple of weeks of the season, it's pretty much how you're going to at least start the playoffs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is unfortunate.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
I mean, I like where they finished, in the season, obviously, but I much prefer a team that's hungry and ready and really wants to fight to get to that next step.
Yep, I think we're going to see a lot of new faces. Not necessarily a lot, but I think we're going to see several new faces next year, and there's going to be pretty high turnover because, I mean, obviously we can't afford everyone to come back.
Yeah, our middle six is going to change up quite a bit, I think, as well as our bottom three.
Yep.
Defensively, I'm worried about what we're going to be able to do, and what we'll end up bringing in. I mean, we had, pretty much an amazing pairing on the bottom pair there, the third pairing, if you will, and then Tanev, being Shillington's babysitter all season was great. It helped Shillington get into obviously a career year and playing a lot different than he was used to, i.e. games. The top line or top pairing, I think were, they had their ups and downs, but I mean, I think Rasmus really, I think he came out into another level personally. I think, quietly he had a very good season.
Yep. Yeah, I really liked Rasmus' season. Actually, I ordered a jersey. Unfortunately, it didn't get here yet. So it's going to stay in the plastic until next season.
There you go.
Yeah, I think I said this when he got signed. Like, he's going to be a top pairing defenseman for a while. I know last year he had a really off year, but if you remember the podcast we were doing last year, Chris, quite a few times we brought up how not great he was playing, and quite a few times I just said I'm not even worried. Like, the whole team was having an off year pretty much, and he was no different. I was like, he's going to come back next year and be just fine. He's going to be worth more than his contract is, and that it'll be just fine. And turns out I was right on that. Anyways,
I didn't have much of an issue with him.
Kind of sucked in the playoffs, but
yeah, I didn't have much of an issue with him on the top pairing, and all season really. Minus maybe a couple of games where he struggled, but for the most part, he was. I mean, he's a good top four for sure. And,
absolutely.
And I mean, on this team, he's definitely top pairing.
So since we were talking about what might potentially come back, let's go down the list of players we need to sign or that are expiring right now. Yeah. I've got it in front of me right now. So we got Chuck, Johnny, obviously, Mangiapane, Ryan Carpenter, Yarn Croak, Trevor Lewis, Brett Ritchie, Shillington, Goodbranson, Stone, and Zadorov are all expiring. And we have 20 million, give or take, to work with there?
Do we have 20?
I think it's 26. It could be off.
26? Okay. Yeah, that's not a lot of money, especially once we lock up Johnny and Chucky, if that does indeed happen, because those guys are going to.
If that doesn't indeed happen, that's going to be 21 of that, at least. Yeah. I think.
Yep.
So that leaves 5 million, which people seem to think that Mangiapane is going to be worth 5 million by himself. So that leaves nothing.
Mm-hmm. And get this, Stockton's contracts. I don't know if people also realize this. The expiring ones that are happening are Matthew Phillips, Martin Pospisil, Ruzicka, Fraze, Godin, Kirkland, Phillips, Poolman, DeSimone, Gravel, Walensky, Adam Warner, and Tyler Parsons, all expiring on Stockton as well, which we also have to sign and get under the cap.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's going to be a few of those that I think they'll let walk. The other thing I kind of want to, just mention when it comes to, obviously the two big names in Calgary being Matthew and Johnny. Yes, they're both going to get raises, but even if you look at what their salary was last year compared to what potentially it's going to be this year, even if they do this, I'm just going to throw 10 mil as a number. Mm-hmm. That's not that much more than they're making currently. You know what I mean? Like, we're still looking that's only 6,000 or 6 million more than what they're making right now between the two of them. So, I mean, it's not as dire as we're kind of making it, not necessarily us, but us as Flames fans are making it. So I do think there's going to be some wiggle room to bring in or help out with the other signings. There are a few in that Flames list that I honestly don't think will come back, and especially if they're looking for raises. Mm-hmm.
I don't know which one of these two it's going to happen to, but my prediction is either Mangiapane or Shillington are either going to get qualified as RFAs and then traded, or offer sheeted, one of the two. We just don't have the space, like, unless Lucic retires or Monahan accepts his buyout, which he can't be on IR to be bought out unless he's okay with it.
Well, and consider this too, like
Monahan's body is so banged up. What if he chooses to retire? I could easily see that happening.
It's possible, but I think he's young and still has something to prove mentally, as far as he's concerned.
I mean, he only has 1 year left on his contract too, and then he's a UFA.
Yeah. I think that's the safest bet to bring off if they can, figure out a way. I think it'll cost us to do it, because I don't think he's going to be. I mean, at most like 3-4 weeks on IR before he's going to be part of the cap, right?
Yep.
Yeah, same with Tanev, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tanev, I think will be a bit longer. I mean,
one player we could potentially move is what's his face, Valimaki. So he's 1.5 against the cap. That would free up some cash to sign someone.
And I think he's still got value somehow. So he would actually be.
I mean, around the hockey world, he has value. I don't know. Dylan, you and I have talked about Valimaki for 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he is what he is at this point, as far as I'm concerned. And
that's entirely too much brain power and attention to give Valimaki.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Fair point.
But I do think that moving him out, I don't think it's going to bring you, what was he, 16th overall or something? I don't think it's going to bring you a pick like that, but I think it could possibly bring you like a very, very, very late first or a second, if you're going to try and free up space by trading him, or you could, maybe trade him and a Monahan or something to a team that wants, is okay with projects, because both of them are going to be projects at this point. Who knows? But we do need some cap space if we want to, even with, Zadorov and Goodbranson coming off too, like Stone's probably going to want a little bit of a raise. I can see him coming back, and Goodbranson, but they're both going to want a little bit of a raise too, right? And it doesn't matter who you're bringing in, we're going to need to pay them.
I think Stone, I mean, given the amount of games he's played, can probably garner maybe, an extra $300,000. Branson, I honestly think, I mean, he may want a little bit more, but I honestly think he's 30 years old now, and I think he finally found a fit that he likes.
Yeah, I could easily see him signing for $1 million or just over that.
Yeah, to keep playing under Sutter.
I think he'll probably. Yeah, I think he'll probably get just a little bit more. Like, he could probably ask for a lot more, but I think he'll probably get a little bit more than what he's making right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Stone as well. He's been the king of the 1 year league minimum deals, but I would honestly be fine with Stone as a number 6 defenseman on a 1.5 million. Like, every time he's played in the last 2 years, he's been one of the 2 best defensemen on the ice on our side.
So I'm willing to bet Stone does come back, but I can guarantee you it's going to be under $1 million.
Yeah, I was going to say 950.
Yeah,
950 is where I had him. Give him an extra $200,000 on his salary, and let him know that he can potentially play more games. Right.
Well, he's 32. Like, he's in the twilight of his career. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. And,
so he's probably going to take under $1 million a year for 2 years or something like that, just for some security.
Mm-hmm. And I honestly hope that they don't do too much of a upgrade on Goodbranson's contract because he was just shy at $2 million, wasn't he? 1.95.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean, 2.2, 2.3 maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like $1 million raise. I think it's going to be a little bit of like, and I think that the fact that as we all talk about, he's spent his whole career looking for a fit, looking for a good coach, looking for a fan base that likes him, and he's found that. So I don't think he's going to go out and try and break the bank for it. He seems very thankful for Calgary.
I think he's going to take a discount. To be honest.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think he's going to take a discount. I'll bet he's going to make
You think
less
so?
than. Oh yeah.
You think he'll do less than 1.95?
I do.
Really?
Yep. I think it'll be more term and less money.
You know what, Ty? The call. Make the call. Make it happen.
1.4, 3 years.
Damn it! Holy
Please.
Christ.
See, I don't see it being like. I don't think it's going to happen, but I also don't think it's like far out of the realm of possibility. I think that it's definitely a possibility that he does, take a bit less, but I'm not entirely sold on him doing that. But even if he wants more, it's not going to be much more.
Yeah.
But the less could happen, but I doubt it.
So out of the Flames roster, with the 5 UFAs at forward, who do you think we hang on to? Other than
at forward,
I honestly don't think any of them other than Johnny will come back unless we get Trevor Lewis at a bare minimum, league minimum, $750.
Mm-hmm. I would be fine with Trevor Lewis coming back myself. He's a great utility guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting up there in age. He's what, 35? Yeah, 35.
And he's a good, like at league minimum. The other thing is you don't want, like, personally, I don't want to bring up, like, say we re-sign any of those guys you were talking about in Stockton. I don't really want any of those guys except for maybe like Fraze coming in and sitting in the press box for 5-6 games and then playing one, and then sitting in the press box for 5-6 games and then playing one. But that's something Lewis, I think
I don't think Fraze is going to get another contract. He's already 31.
Yeah, I think he's done. I can't see. I mean, he might get one more contract to only play in the A. I don't think he has another shot at being.
Well, he is the captain there, but I'm not.
It's just because he's the oldest guy.
Saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that he is going to be resigned. I just used him as an example of a guy who's not going to progress probably much and can sit in the press box, and none of us are going to be like, oh no, Fraze is in the press box. Whereas if Phillips or Peltier or somebody like that is in the press box for 6 games and then plays one, we're probably going to be like, why the fuck is this guy even up? Right?
Well, I don't know. We got 7 forwards on expiring contracts. Like, whoever we call up isn't going to be sitting in the press box. They're forced to play because we don't have any space to sign anyone else. So they're going to be playing regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I think Adam will be on the team next year full time.
Yep.
Ruzicka, obviously.
You got to wonder about his contract too, though. Like, what money are we going to sign him with? He's going to be looking for a raise. He'll
be looking for a raise, but I mean, he's not going to make 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, he might make 1.
I was going to say he makes 1, and that's $200,000 more than what he's been making,
and which is
fine.
That's your third line center probably, right?
Yep.
I'm fine with the third line center at 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And
I also think maybe Godden might get a few looks next year too, right? Play the fourth line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on him coming back. I'd like him to, but I think that he is probably going to test free agency and probably sign somewhere that has, that is going to tell him he'll play in the NHL.
What does UFA/Group 6 mean, right? Did not accrue the acquired amount of games by the age of 25. So does that mean he's not truly a UFA?
No, he's truly a UFA.
I can't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can go and sign wherever he'd like. I don't know what the rules are with that, to be brutally honest, though.
I think that's something to do with he can sign a two-way contract, and then at the end of that contract, he becomes an RFA again.
Yeah.
It's something along those lines. I've played a lot of be a GM mode.
Yeah. I also think that Peltier and Mackey, I think both of those guys are ready to be at least, 60 games in the NHL, if not all of them.
I wasn't sold on Mackey.
I think Peltier.
I like Mackey. I like Mackey a lot. I think he would do well in Shillington's spot with Tanev to learn the ropes.
I do too. But I mean, we haven't seen like too much of him, and like at the NHL level, we've seen a little bit, and the little bit I saw, he had a really good game, and then he had an all right game, and then he had a not great game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
and
right.
That was it.
And you think Peltier as well at 21?
I think Peltier has. I think he's outgrowing the AHL. That's where that's kind of where I put him. At least, at the very least, I think he's ready for a real shot.
But he was still going to get third or fourth line minutes. That would almost be detrimental to his growth.
I kind of agree. I mean, he's still after next year, he has one more year in his contract, and I feel like the 23-24 will be the year that they bring him up to see what he has, to see what kind of contract they're actually going to give him from his RFA status. I don't know. It's hard to say because you're right. You're right, Ty. He didn't get huge minutes, so that's a big jump.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big jump.
He totally did get huge minutes.
Oh, in the A's. No, what I'm saying is if he were to be called up, he would be penciled in the third or fourth line, which wouldn't allow him lots of minutes.
Yeah.
I never like seeing guys come up and play fourth line minutes unless it's like a phrase type of guy who that's what they're for.
Mm-hmm.
Or even Walker Dewar, I wouldn't mind coming up to play fourth line minutes should Lucic be somehow moved or retire or something like that. But I don't think skill guys need to be coming in and playing fourth line minutes. Third line is kind of pushing it, but that's kind of okay to me. But I feel like there's a big chance Mangiapane doesn't come back, and I feel like I'm not saying that Peltier should take his spot on the second line or whatever like that, but I feel like he could kind of, between him and Dubé, kind of get 2B minutes, if you know what I mean, in between second and third line minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so, but I mean, I'm still very wary about his size and yeah, I don't know.
Isn't he the same size as Mangiapane?
Yeah, but they don't play the same game. He plays a soft game. I
think he plays a lot like Backlund, from what I've been told. He plays a lot like Backlund. Not obviously not center, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm
That's
wrong with him.
That's the thing, though.
I mean, you got to think he's played one season at the pro level, 66 games. That's all he's played. So I don't know that he's outgrown the AHL yet.
What's his stat line like? Because there was a while there he was really high up on the AHL boards.
Yeah, I mean he's 62 points, 27 goals, 35 assists in 66 games. So I'm not saying he hasn't played well.
Yeah,
but but I mean, it's one season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's still only 21 and he's small. I would let him develop another year myself. That's me personally.
See, I think in an ideal world, we let him develop more, but I don't think that we live in an ideal world in our cap situation. I think we're going to need those graduates coming out. And I really don't think Zari's ready, especially since he missed half the season.
No, I'm betting Brad just signs a whole bunch of like entry level like garbage players, and we're going to have another middling season next year. And then the following year, we have some big contracts coming off the books. That's when we're going to make an impact.
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, next year, I mean, we don't have many coming off as it sits right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have Lucic and Monahan coming off next year. That's
sure. Yeah.
That's enough.
I mean, and that's why I wanted to jump in on that, on the amount of actual cap raise that our top two signings were going to garner. That we're not in that dire situation that I think a lot of fans truly believe. You know, like Johnny's going to make 3.5 more, and you know, and Matthew's qualifying offer is 2 more than what he has now. So I mean, it's not great, but it's not as bad as a lot of people think.
Right.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe Monty comes back next year and he becomes a halfway decent player again. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be fantastic.
If he does that, great. I mean, I'm excited about that if that happens.
Knowing that he's having this certain, and like, I don't mean to be a downer about it, because I really have liked Monahan most of his career, but I know that Sagan had the same surgery a few years back, and he only had it on one hip. And he has not ever been the same. Like, he's still productive, but he's not nearly as productive as he used to be. And Monahan's now, you know, on his second hip of that same surgery. So I'm not I'm optimistic, but I'm not gonna like sit here and be like, oh yeah, Monahan's coming back and he's gonna be, you know, even 20 goals or even 15 goals. I'm not sold on that. I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I'd absolutely love it, but I'm not gonna predict that.
Yeah. I mean, players play differently with different coaches and styles. I mean, who knows what Sagan's issue is? I mean, he's been kind of a bit of an egotistical prick since the day he came in the league as well, right? You know, so maybe getting dropped down a peg has brought his game down a bit. I mean, who knows? I'm not gonna compare Monahan with Sagan.
No, the only reason I'm doing that is because they had the same hip surgery. I'm not saying they're the same player, because Monahan was never the same player as Sagan. They've always been much different players. But
yeah, Monahan's best game is when he's standing by himself in front of the net, whereas Sagan's best game is when he's digging the puck out of the corner and creating chances, right? So I don't know. I'm not gonna compare the two.
I mean, I wonder what their stat lines look like compared to each other. Yeah, quickly look that up here. What else we got going on? Must be something else we can talk about.
It's got to be, right?
Well,
have we mentioned that last night the Oilers got swept by Colorado Avalanche?
We haven't mentioned it, no, but basically all of Facebook
we have
has
not mentioned that.
And I'm doing this just because I know it's pissing Dylan off. So that's the only reason why I'm bringing it up.
Well,
I mean, I'm not bragging about it yet. Just give me a second. I'm not done. So what is the highlight of that series for you, Dylan? What is your favorite part of that series?
Oh, it's how egotistical the Flames fans are about the Oilers getting swept in the round after them. That's my favorite part of it.
Okay. Do you know what my favorite part is?
Right. Sorry.
My favorite part is the fact that they got swept.
Go on. Go ahead.
With apparently the greatest player that's ever played the game.
Yeah.
Going up, in my opinion, against two of the greatest players that's ever played the game in Makar and McKinnon. And
like I didn't even watch the series, but I saw a bunch of highlights pop up on like Facebook, TikTok, and all that. Just like Makar just shutting down McDavid by himself over and over again, and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yep, I agree. That's the one thing.
I am very impressed with Makar. Very impressed.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, and being a Calgary kid, it excites me. I think it's great. It's unfortunate that he's with the Avs, but I wish him the best, right? I mean, he's a hell of a kid.
Oh, wasn't it Gretzky who said he literally thinks he's the best player in the NHL this year?
Yeah, and you know what? I tend to agree with that thinking. When you have somebody like McDavid, if they're not putting points on the board, they're nothing in a game. Where Makar, if he's not putting points on the board, he's a very good defenseman as well.
Yeah.
You know, they like to call him a offensive defenseman, but I think he's a full-on defenseman. Like he can create plays.
Well, I think he
get the puck out of the zone. He can shut people down. There's just so many different avenues of his game that is just super impressive. And he's what, 23?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, holy Christ, what's he going to look like in 6 years?
He was shutting down McDavid. Meanwhile, we had Hannafin giving the puck to McDavid.
Yeah. And Shillington trying to skate backwards and falling down for McDavid. And, you know, like, yeah, no, and we were supposed to be the superior defensive team.
And Zadorov, our big hitter, going in for a massive hit against McDavid and him just rolling off and Zadorov like collapsing like a fucking, like he's Gumby.
Yeah, I mean, that might have something to do with the 2 or 3 cracked ribs he had, but
sure.
Fine. It's probably difficult.
So then stay in your position and use your stick to fucking poke the puck. Don't go.
You don't know Zadorov at all, do you? He doesn't stay in his goddamn position. He hits motherfuckers.
And that's what I hated about him.
I know.
I talked about it in earlier podcasts, how like during the Dallas series, you could see he got away from that regular season success that he had, where he was playing Sutter's game and he was just putting himself in good defensive positions. And all of a sudden the playoffs hit and he starts going in the offensive zone. He's going for all these reckless hits, and surprise, it fucking bit us in the ass. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to put a whole lot of the loss to Edmonton on Zadorov, but
no, and I'm not either.
But I'm
saying that all of our players got away from the game that made them successful during the regular season. Absolutely. Each and every one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, except for Backlund. I really like Backlund, at least, especially for the last 3 games.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's something positive that came out of our playoff run, I think. A lot of the Backlund haters, a lot of the people who've been on Backlund's fucking ass for years and years and years for not producing offense, I think they finally saw why we like Backlund.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, liking Backlund is one thing. What I don't like is his contract. So he right now, other than Markstrom, has the most expensive contract on the team.
Yeah. I mean, today.
Does he deserve that?
He won't July 1. But
no. But today he does.
No.
Yeah. And by $100,000, right?
Right.
I mean, let's look at the list, right? Mm-hmm. To me, he's way better than Luch. He's way better than Coleman. He's not better than Lindholm. He's way better than Toffoli. Has been for us, anyways.
You would say he's way better than Coleman?
I think he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would put the two of them on par. Like, I would say they're both second line players that are very valuable.
It is really hard for me to. Sorry, it's really hard for me to compare them because like Coleman is. Yeah, Coleman is tenacious in his two-way play, whereas Backlund is just smart in his two-way play. There's two completely different ways of going about being a two-way forward that they each play completely different.
No, for sure. and the last forward contract we have on the top line is Dubé, and I mean he's clearly more than 2 times better than Dubé.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean him at 5.3 bothers me in the least. He's a second line center. He plays second line power play, first line penalty kill, and does them well. Like to me, anyways. Because I've always liked his game. I've always liked his two-way game and his 200-foot game.
Me too. And like, is he too expensive? You know what, a little bit, but I think ideally he'd be at like 4.75 or something like that. And like at this point, we're just splitting hairs. I think he's
how much is Edmonton's second line center?
Well,
who is their second line center? Nuge?
Is it Draisaitl or Nuge? Which game? What part of the game are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's Leon.
Yeah.
You know who's Colorado's second line center?
Compher? Kadri?
I think it's Kadri, right?
Yeah.
It's Kadri's contract. Like,
Kadri is also like infinitely more, like all these guys you're talking about are infinitely more productive than Backlund as far as offense is concerned. Maybe not so much on defense is concerned. But
Kadri actually makes 4.5 this year.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get paid. He's probably going to get upwards of 7.5.
Well, I mean, that happens after a career year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he made more than that.
Wait, does he have another year? I can't tell. Wait, this is broken down. It's all weird on my phone.
Yeah, it's weird even on my laptop, to be honest with you. I think he's
21-22 is this past season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a UFA.
Yeah, he's a UFA. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's gonna get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid. Yeah.
Yeah, he could probably get 9 and be a first line center on a lot of teams.
That's a hell of a gamble.
I would say he's probably going to get 7.
I don't think I'd want to roll into playoffs with Kadri as my number one because holy shit, there's a chance he's going to miss 6 games because of a stupid hit.
Yeah, true, but he put up 87 points in 71 games this year.
Oh yeah,
that's fuck in a plus 13.
Yeah.
To be fair, and so this year he also proved that I guess he can play with top line players, because when McKinnon was out, he was playing with Rantanen, and when Rantanen went down, he was playing with McKinnon, and he
didn't get suspended in the playoffs.
And
he's always been a good player, right? It's just been his stupid antics that people kind of go, fuck this guy.
He only has 6 minutes in penalties in this playoffs. He's played more games than he has penalty minutes.
Yeah, and like what Evander Kane did this offseason, or sorry, this playoff, where he made a stupid hit and missed the last game of their season.
Yeah, that's Kadri,
is exactly what Kadri would have done every other year.
Yeah,
would have. He's definitely matured as a player, though, playing with these guys.
Well, playing with those guys, and clearly, the coaching staff and whatnot they've gotten through to him, right? Like his career, I think, is turned around because of it.
Big time.
Or potentially. I mean, it's 1 year, but as much as I don't like the guy,
got to give credit where it's due.
Who's Toronto's second line center?
Tavares.
What's he worth?
10 or something stupid.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm not having this conversation about Backlund.
Yeah, the only issue I see with Backlund is his age. He's 33 this year,
so
33. He's going to start to decline hard pretty soon.
Well, his contract expires at the end of next year, so he'll be making, second line center.
No, he's got 2 years on his contract.
Less than that money until he's at the point where he's not.
Yeah, Backlund's expires at the end of 24.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was at the end of next year. My bad.
No, so he's going to be 36 when it's done.
Yeah.
Which is when you start signing your $1 million deals and you continue to play Sutter style hockey, where you can kind of go down in the books as one of the league's better 200-foot players. Right?
You think he's still going to sign another contract at 36?
I do. I think he'll sign one or two, or he'll finish his career in Sweden. But I think he'll sign at least one more.
Yeah, I could see him signing one more. It won't be long. But
No,
I mean,
I could see him signing a 1 or 2 year. He
at like $1 million or $1.5 million, like just to see if he can find that success, that everyone chases.
Yeah, it's worth a
look
shot.
At look at Morton, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, and yeah, I try not to. Fucking guy.
Why? Because he kind of looks like you if you were like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean the beard's a little bit shorter now.
Yeah.
But.
So I guess we could talk for a minute about the Rangers and Tampa series, because that game 4 just ended. Tampa tied it up.
Honestly, haven't watched the game, so it's awfully exciting to me.
Yeah, Tampa tied it up. That's all you can say about that series. I mean, it's been a good series, right? I
think it's been the best series I've watched so far. This, like, as far as it being exciting and the goalies being good, and defense not being horrible, but offense also being good. Like, just all, I think it's been a really fun series to watch. My secret to it as a Flames fan is to pretend that Perry and Fox don't exist, and I just end up enjoying it. And if I pretend like they don't exist, but
I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people dislike Fox for what he did. To be honest, I respect it. The guy knew what team he wanted to play for, and he set the ground rules. He's like, listen, don't draft me. I want to play for the Rangers. He pulled a Lindros, and the Flames decided to draft him. And then Carolina thought, they're just like, all right, well, we'll trade for this guy. We might be able to convince him. He's just like, no, I want to play for the Rangers. And they got his rights anyways. What happened?
Unpopular opinion, I know. But I'm one of those people that has never been a Lindros fan because of what he did.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's also a big difference between what Lindros did, because he actually had like personal issues with the ownership group of the Nordiques, whereas Fox just was like, oh, you drafted me, oh, you like me, oh, fuck you, I'm going home. Oh, you traded for me, you like me too, fuck you, I'm going home. Like,
he said in his draft interview before he was even drafted that he wanted to play for New York, and he would only play for New York.
If that's not the worst scouting ever.
Yeah,
like in the interview saying I'm not going to play for you, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it brought us Lindholm, so I'm kind of okay with it.
Dougie Hamilton and Ferland brought us Lindholm and Hanifin.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree. It was
Fox was just a gamble for them, and it was a free liftoff.
It was the free throw in. They probably could have got it done without Fox, but
yeah, I mean, I don't think Carolina actually thought they were going to sign him.
No. And it was like a year or two later, or maybe it was like 2 years later, and Carolina had nobody from that trade left whatsoever, and we still have both of them. Like, I could honestly take or leave Hanifin, but
top pairing defense and first line center. Yay! Not a bad trade for the likes of Ferland and Hamilton, which I mean, I hated Hamilton's game. I still do.
I honestly, I don't like Hanifin's game. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Well, they play a very similar style, right? Hamilton and Hanifin.
Yeah.
I mean,
they do.
Never been my preference. That's for sure.
I do think Hanifin's better than Hamilton at defense, at actually playing defense, and he takes less penalties than Hamilton does. But Hamilton, like, Hamilton's offense is so much better than Hannafin's, but Hannafin's everything else is better than Hamilton. So it kind of evens itself out.
Honestly, Hannafin's defensive game was what I didn't like about him, and still don't.
Yeah, but Hamilton's way worse at defense than
but I'd rather have Hamilton putting the puck in the net than Hannafin not putting the puck in the net and making the same fucking mistakes.
Yeah, that giveaway to McDavid for that last play of the year for us, that is kind of a microcosm of exactly why I have been shitting on Hannafin for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because he makes that play without looking so often, and it goes right to the opponent every fucking time.
He just throws a puck in front of the net way too much.
Yeah, I mean,
send it up the boards, fucking ice it, anything.
And he got a lot better this year.
He did that play where he gives it up to McDavid, and then what really was the icing on the cake is Johnny in the flyby behind him. Doesn't try to go for the puck, or he just skated by him. I'm just like, there it is.
Well, I don't think anyone expected the puck to go straight to McDavid, including Johnny. Like, it was just, how can your defense just make a move like that? Just throw the puck blindly behind him in front of the net. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Send it up the fucking boards. Send it behind the net. Anything but that.
Well, he did send it up the boards, but McDavid was up the boards, and he took it and ran away. That was the problem.
Yeah. It was just a light pass up the boards. I mean, obviously, there's not the time to be clearing it, right? So, like, icing it. Sorry. That's what I mean.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the handshake line until like 2 days later. But
I still haven't watched it.
I saw the giveaway, I saw the goal, and I think I left the TV on and just walked away. It was just like, oh, that's exactly how this would fucking end.
Yep. I turned the TV off and I haven't turned it on since.
Yeah. But so that's unfortunate. But so here's another thing for me, and I think a lot of people are really upset. Obviously, I'm really upset that we lost, but where we are in our development, and we finally have a half decent coach. I do think that he got out coached there by he wouldn't send Backlund out until game 5 against McDavid very often, even though he was clearly the only one who could do it with any sort of regularity anyways. But we finally have a half decent coach. We finally have a decent core of guys who, even though we just spent the last 5 minutes shitting on that play, in general throughout the season have shown a lot of growth defensively and care about getting in and getting to the hard areas to get the puck back in order to make offense happen. And I think if we can bring Johnny and Kachuk and whoever else back and build around them, I do think that we're in a position where we will start consistently making the playoffs and consistently being competitive in the playoffs, consistently making the second round, and move on from there, because that's how, like, very rarely do teams not go through heartbreak before winning, and usually have to go through a few. So I think we're starting to be in that group of teams.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely be successful next year, but I think overall the playoffs this year, including the Dallas series, showed that a lot of our players aren't the clutch players we thought they were, or thought they could be. And I'm spitting honesty here. That, like, I don't know, we haven't had success in the past, and a lot of them were new to the playoffs this year, but they folded under the pressure, and they let it get to them, and they got away from their games, what made them successful. And we're going to need to see a lot more maturity from our team moving forward in those clutch situations.
I want to see a fuck of a lot more maturity by what everybody calls our future captain, number 19. This guy.
Yep.
His antics in the first game just really, really pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
So I think his regular season showed a lot of maturity, and then he got overexcited by the playoffs and started starting with Klingberg and Raffle and going right into the second round with whoever it was he was trying to fight. I can't even remember right now.
He was pissing around with Kane a lot, right?
Yeah, and like
he would have handed him his ass.
Honestly, him saying that you're asking Kane if he wanted to borrow some money, I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That's probably one of the best on ice trips I've ever seen, to be honest with you. I mean,
yeah,
it was great.
But it was all downhill from there.
Right.
Yeah, it was all downhill from there. But I do think that he's still young too, and as a part of the going forward leadership group, I'm not going to say captain, but going forward as a part of the leadership group of this team, he's already shown he can mature, and he's starting to mature, and it's a process, man. It's a process. He's not somebody to be giving up on, because you don't find players like him very often at all, and you can't.
No, I know.
You just don't.
No, I know. I do agree. I think given his pedigree, where he comes from, that letting the excitement of playoffs truly affect his game like it did in the first round and the second round, I think he needs to get a handle on that.
I agree.
Mean, even his brother couldn't handle the excitement. See him in the stands.
Well, his brother's never been to a playoff game before. He doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Right?
And to be fair, and I'm
don't
not trying to make up excuses for Matthew either, but he got hurt. He got concussed, I believe, in his first ever series, and he didn't get to play much. And so that was really his first playoff run that went further than 2 games. So again, it's a process. Let this kid be grow up a little bit, and he's only 24. Once he gets to be 26, 27, he's going to be just fucking fine. He's going to be an elite player who can produce in the playoffs and not let his emotions get the best of him most of the time.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, he's played 27 playoff games now, right? Including the 12.
How many of them were this year?
12.
12. Oh, I guess that probably counts that Winnipeg fucking thing.
Yeah. That was where he got concussed, wasn't it? He got concussed against Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, when was
Didn't
that?
he get concussed against Colorado?
No,
it was 1920.
That was the year before.
He was up in the press box against Winnipeg, right?
Yeah, he got concussed game 1, I'm pretty sure. But he played the round. No, yes. Or did he get concussed against Dallas?
He got concussed against Dallas because.
Okay, yeah. So he played through the first round with Winnipeg, and then he got concussed against Dallas.
Which is the play and doesn't count against.
Did they not count it as playoff games for him though?
They did count it as playoff games.
Yeah, he got 6 games that year.
Yeah, and again, I remember seeing him literally trying to pull his hair out in the press box because the team, against Dallas that year, because
they showed the video clips of him at the end of the last game, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I want more from him. I want more from our future stud that is going to garner
totally
$10 million.
Yeah, I want more from the whole team. That whole series against Edmonton was just a complete letdown for everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, in his 27 games that he only has 15 points.
Yeah,
I want more.
And I'm not going to sit here and say I don't want more from him because obviously I do. I'm just saying he's got it. He's just got to get to it. He'll get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I truly believe that.
I think he will too. I honestly think he will as well.
And the whole team, that defensive structure just fell apart in in that Edmonton series, that whole defensive structure just fell apart. They all chased McDavid, and then he'd pass it to people who were completely open because nobody else was playing defense on anybody except for McDavid. And, they'd chase him and then he'd spin away and he'd be alone. And then there'd be four guys off in the corner. Well,
honestly, the one player that stood out to me as like the difference maker in that series was Hyman.
Yeah.
I feel like he
got all
was,
the clutch goals.
Yeah, he got the goals when they needed those goals, right?
We haven't even talked about Markstrom. Like, I'm not putting the blame on like solely on Markstrom, but he was fucking garbage too.
He was garbage, and I don't want to talk about it.
Yep. No.
Fair enough.
Could have had anyone in that.
I changed my tune with him through the regular season. Then see what happens.
He was great against Dallas.
He was really good against Dallas, and then he was
and that's where I have a lot of problem with the the people that analyze hockey for a living. He was way better than Ottinger was, in my opinion, because he was up against a lot more high danger chances than what we threw at them. Most of what Ottinger did was from the perimeter. We did not make his life miserable whatsoever. I was so frustrated with shots from the hash mark, from the blue line, off to the side, and nobody in front.
That was the biggest thing.
Of course, his save percentage is high. Look, all they're doing is shooting at his crest.
Yeah, nobody was getting in his eyes, and it was driving me nuts because, like, the goals that did go in on Markstrom were like screened to shit, and Pavelski being Pavelski and being the best tipper in the history of the league, like.
And then like the playoffs are over, and you sit back and you just wait for that injury report of all the players that are playing injured to come out, and then
he comes out with what he says.
we get Markstrom saying, "Oh, actually, I was perfectly healthy.
I felt great.
Make something up, motherfucker."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, my vagina was itchy. Something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not sold on. He wouldn't tell you if he was injured.
Yeah, he would.
Yes, I don't think he would.
No, but maybe he wouldn't tell us, but someone would say something. Like
somebody would have said something.
Zadorov didn't tell anyone about his injuries. Chucky didn't say anything about his hand. It's the medical staff and the staff around that.
Well, that
released it later.
That's right.
I mean, Tanev did. That was fucking obvious.
Yeah.
But Tanev was injured?
No. Didn't you hear they said he had a sprained neck, but he didn't have a sprained neck, so I guess nothing was injured.
That's right.
Yeah, he's only going to be out for 6 to 8 months due to a surgery.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, and seriously,
I let him take his time to heal. We need him at top form.
So, what exactly? It was a torn labrum and a separated shoulder. Like, dude, I remember Steinberg saying on the radio, like, "Oh, he's before he came back to play those final couple games, he was on the radio saying like, I don't think he's going to play at all these playoffs because he keeps coming on the ice and skating around just fine, but he can't shoot the puck."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, fuck it. Like, we're not asking Tanev to come out and shoot the puck, but like, if a hockey player can't flip it down the ice,
if a hockey player can't raise their arm this high, that's a problem.
Yeah,
you can't shoot the puck. That means you also can't pass it. You can't clear the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he fought through it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he still played some pretty good hockey for those last couple of games.
Yeah.
And
I just want to say Zadorov, like, I don't know which ribs they were, but I've had cracked ribs before and I couldn't fucking breathe. Like, at lying down, never mind trying to walk around. Like, I
played rugby with cracked ribs.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal.
I think it depends. That's why I said I don't know which ribs they were. I think it depends which ribs they are.
I think it just depends if you're a puss or not. You're no Zadorov. You're not a tough Russian. You're just a little ginger from BC. Come on now.
I'm not from BC. That's just where I live.
So you ran to BC. Yeah, I mean, cracked ribs suck. They do. I've had them. I'm not a fan of them, though.
Yeah.
it didn't hurt nearly as much as my separated shoulder.
Yeah.
That one still bugs me. Maybe I should go do my 6 to 8 month surgery.
And I'm gonna get shit on for saying this, but high ankle sprain. I've had one of those before. Depending on how bad that is, the Draisaitl thing. Like, I can't believe that guy was skating. The other thing is these guys get these like fucking injections like several times throughout the game.
Cortisone.
Cortisone. I think it completely numbs, like, not the pain, but the whole limb, which is impressive in itself to like be able to skate with a completely numb foot. But it's high ankle sprains. That's not just a regular sprained ankle. That's a lot fucking worse.
Yep.
So I'm impressed that he put up 17 points in 5 games, whatever the fuck it is.
Years ago, I found out that I broke my ankle while stepping in a gopher hole, running for a fly ball, playing baseball. And I
should get playing outfield.
Well, if you can throw a ball, you play outfield. 2 or 3 weeks later, with a brace and the help of potentially some T3s and some liquid courage, played playoffs. It was the most horrendous pain I've ever felt in my life on the Sunday morning when I got up and could barely get out of bed. And that's when I found it a couple of days later. I actually broke it in 2 spots. I thought I just sprained it and put a brace on. I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I remember when I broke my back, I tried to walk it off and I drove myself home. And I remember going to the hospital and like walking in, they were like, "How's your pain?" I'm just like, it's like a 8 or 9. Then they took X-rays and they're just like, "We don't know how you walked in here under your own power."
Yeah. It's amazing what adrenaline can do.
Yeah,
adrenaline's a good thing.
I mean, I just spent this whole week working in the kitchen with a broken thumb.
Yeah,
you just power through stuff,
That's really what you do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive that they're able to play the game at an elite level still. I mean, nothing about Draisaitl's game, especially in the last 3, I'll say, against Colorado, I would consider elite. But
but the whole time his ankle was really bad. He was
still very productive and so give him credit. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be an injury report coming out soon because apparently, from what I heard, he was also super injured at the end of that Colorado series.
Yeah, it's pretty banged up. Yeah, they abused him.
Well, and that's something we didn't do. And like, for some reason, the league called us out, for one shift where I think it was Mangiapane was like, he swatted at Draisaitl's ankle twice, and the league like sent out a video saying the Flames are, we're aware that the Flames are targeting Draisaitl's ankle. And I'm just sitting here like, so what in the history of the NHL playoffs is saying that every single team doesn't do that exact fucking thing?
Well, they showed examples of Makar doing that to Draisaitl last night.
Yeah,
right.
Like, but
it wasn't just Mangiapane. There was like 7 of them in the span of about a minute. It was good. I mean, that's what you do. And then you got to take care of business, right? I mean, that's just is what it is.
But like them targeting Tanev because they did.
Yeah.
Dallas targeted Tanev and then hurt him, and then when he came back, Edmonton targeted him. Like, that's just how the playoffs are. There's an injured guy, they get targeted.
Well, especially when it's one of the top guys, right? You have to target it.
Yeah, and Draisaitl got
and it's not intent to injure, right? It's just if you can take out one of their top guys for 5 minutes in a game, it's just advantage, right? It's just how you play the game.
Yep. And that's what happened with Draisaitl last night. He got absolutely smoked by somebody I think it was Manson. I could be wrong, but got smoked by somebody in the corner, and then got up, limped away, couldn't even get off by himself for a little while, and then finally got off and left the ice for a little bit and then came back. But like, there's 5 minutes without their guy who just got 17 points in 5 games against Calgary. Like, that's not nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the two of them, him and McDavid combined for like 65 points. Like, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Yep. So, that being said, good. That's some depression, maybe some excitement. Who do you think's going to win the Rangers Lightning? I'll ask Dylan because Ty hasn't watched.
Yeah, fair enough. At the beginning of the game today, the Rangers were up 2-1 and the game was about to start. And at the beginning of that game, I said whoever wins tonight is going to win the series, and Tampa won tonight, so I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, he says that, but Tampa was already up 2-0 at that point. So yeah, I mean, I
probably because my stream's always fucking 20 minutes behind.
Well, that's what you get. You got that BC internet. Your internet was high.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with BC internet.
That's fair. You know,
I live on the fucking island here, and I've got better internet.
Yeah, but I mean, like you probably have like hydro internet. He's got mountain internet. There's a difference. I could see Tampa actually pulling it off too, and moving on. I think Tampa and Colorado will be a pretty good final.
I'm pretty sure I picked New York moving on to the finals in my bracket. So
you did.
They're still my pick.
I remember that.
You did. You're one of 7 people in the world, but yes, well done.
A few days ago,
team. I like them.
Yeah.
A few days ago, I put a couple bucks down on Shesterkin winning the Conn Smythe because I thought that could happen, but now it wasn't much. It was only like $5, so it's not.
Kreider. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But he has been fucking absolutely amazing throughout the whole playoffs.
He's not diving.
Shesterkin?
Yeah.
No, I think if they do win the cup, I think it's gonna be their future captain, Chris Kreider. Like he's just done everything for that team.
He's been really good.
Yeah, and yeah, no, I agree.
Like there was even that press conference not too long ago. I forget who he was sitting with, and they were asking him something that happened. Someone on Tampa scored a goal, and they were just like, "Well, like what happened on that breakdown?" And the player beside him was starting to take blame, but he just like put his hand. He was like, "No, that was on me. That was my fault." Like, takes the blame for it. That's captain material.
That's captain material. 100%. I agree. Yeah,
so
teams need more of that.
Absolutely. Does whether it's New York or Tampa, does either of those teams beat Colorado?
Tampa will put up a good fight. New York is going to get stomped.
I agree with what you said. Yeah, I don't think either team beats Colorado. They're on another level.
Yeah.
They've lost two games this entire playoffs to get to the final.
Yeah, McKinnon is not letting the cup get away from him this year.
Yeah,
no, he's possessed out there. Like
the only thing I can say about that is Kemper and Francouz are not Shesterkin or Vasilevsky, so that could be a factor. But I still think that Colorado's firepower and Makar. I think
they outscored the highest scoring team.
I think that's going to do it for sure.
I think, I mean, if you look at, so far Rangers have 12 goals in 4 games, which isn't bad. Tampa's got 11, so it's not like these goalies have been super lights out in this series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've been good, but not lights out.
No, but they're both much better than
sure.
Than Kemper for sure, and Francouz, he's been lights out.
I do agree with that, but I mean, as far as what's from the goalie out,
you look at complete teams that
no comparison there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I was trying to say. From the goalie out, Colorado's a much better team than New York for sure.
And I think if New York goes on, I believe the rookie goalie might be a little bit overwhelmed. Honestly,
I mean, just look at when Chicago won all those cups. They won them with Antti Niemi.
Right.
What the fuck else did they have? Cristobal Huet.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
You don't need
Corey Crawford, I guess.
You don't need an elite goalie. You just need an elite team.
That's right. Yeah, and he's never seen the likes of McKinnon and Makar coming at him.
That's just that whole team, man. That's just
exactly. That's just the top 2. Like
as the kids say, that team is an absolute wagon.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it! Can't believe
What were you about to say that?
No, that's not my thing. Steve was saying that for a while, and it was just like, dude, knock it off.
Well, no, that's actually it's from Spit and Chicklets.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't watch it. I should probably do that, right?
Biz is a funny man.
He is a good guy, actually. He is a good guy. That's a weird thing to say. He is a funny guy. Yeah, that's what I meant. So, Ty, are you still selling shirts and the canvases and things like that? No?
Nope. Shut it down.
You shut it down?
Yep. It's cost me $40 a month, and I hadn't made a sale in a couple months. So,
well, I apologize. I mean, I got my canvas on the wall. I got my shirts.
yeah. I sold a decent amount of merch there. It was a good time for a little endeavor, but yeah, it was time to face the real world and get back to a real job, kitchen work.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess I won't put the link in the in the description.
Yeah, no need to plug it this week.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate all the business I got.
I'm still gonna happily wear my shirts everywhere and point out.
Of course, yeah. That's a fantastic design.
Well, yeah. And in fact, I do want to talk to you about other stuff, but that's fine. And I'll pay the monthly. We'll figure it out.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Awesome. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for this depressing end of the season little rally we had here at the Armchair. Don't forget, give us that subscribe, smash that like button, turn on the notification. We'll probably come to you a couple times through the off season. I would think there's
as the Armchair Barbecuers.
Yeah. The pick tips or whatever the fuck.
I'm sure once we know what the contracts are, if there's going to be contracts, and if there isn't, what's in the future, we're going to have a few episodes throughout the summer.
Also hire us on as Extreme Makeover Home Edition. We'll make all your houses look like Chris's house.
Yep. It's not cheap.
You mean like draped for an entire winter because his siding company sucked?
Sure. Yeah. That.
Holy, what just happened? Jeez. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, July 1st is coming up fast, right? So we'll keep you updated on contracts and hopefully some reasonable signings and things we can get excited about for next season.
Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk, $4 million each. Yeah, ooh, baby.
Yeah, that's that BC air again. Until next time, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.